Yo, what up guys? So today I wanted to make a quick video to kind of go over all of the spear buffs or changes, because we got some pretty important ones and I kind of wanted to just go over them anytime some new stuff for the spear comes out. So swapping over here, you can see patch 1.12 recently came out today, and I'm not going to go over everything that was in the patch notes. I'm just going to go over the spear stuff. So the first spear thing is Gale Rush. The ability now highlights as available on the hotbar when selecting a targetable ally. This isn't anything crazy, anything to be worked up over. All it is just shows you now when it's available. A lot of people don't even realize you can use it on an ally, and instead of going and give you that attack speed bonus to whatnot to your target, you can actually CC anyone around an ally. You can also spec into it to make it removes CC from your ally. So it can be kind of big. But anyways, they just changed it to where now it highlights. You can see it like it's available. Going down, the next spear change, and this is pretty important, was Unyielding Sentinel. This is pretty important. This is the one that, that gives you the 4K shield and whatnot. We use this all the time. This now increases the CC resistances each time a player is hit for up to a total of 15 hits. Now, I think this is like a translation error on here, because it sounds like it increases our CC resistance every time you're hit. It doesn't actually work like that. If I swap over to the game and show you, you can see there at the very bottom, it says it increases the effect's remaining duration. Every time you get hit up to 15 times. So you basically, the duration goes up by a total of 3 seconds if you are hit up to 15 times. So 3 seconds, and if you look at the top, it says all CCC resistances are increased by 410 for 6 seconds. So all it does is add 3 seconds to that, so it's 9 seconds instead of that 6 seconds, which is still pretty big, because that's 9 seconds of CC resistance by 410 if you have it like leveled up all the way to max. So still pretty big. I think that's kind of like a pretty big change. I welcome all the new, CC resistance we can get for sure. You can also see that the cooldown is now reduced to 24 seconds. Now, I don't know off the top of my head what it was prior, like what it exactly was. I want to say it was up in the 40s. It was like 40 something seconds. I could probably look at an old video to kind of see, but I think it was 40 seconds. So it being reduced to 24 seconds is huge, because that means that with buff duration and whatnot, you can see my cooldown on it is 22 seconds basically. That means every 22 seconds I get a 4K shield, and I also get these buffs. I get those resistances, and I get the heavy attack bonus, which is huge. So I'm all for this change. This change is very big. I really like it. You can see the next one is another change. They actually added a specialization that removes the base effects. This is important. It removes the base effects, and instead it grants hit and accuracy, CC accuracy, each time the user lands an attack. So you have to keep in mind, it removes the resistances and it removes the heavy attack when you choose this new spec, okay? Enforcer. But what it does is it gives you more hit, 410 for 6 seconds, and after 3 seconds, it increases all CC chance, depending on the number of targets. So basically it changes from heavy to CC chance, and it changes from resistances to hit chance. So in my honest opinion, I think that this change was made for T2. I think it was made for people like in Korea for T2, because in T2, you're gonna be able, or everyone's gonna be able to get a reliable amount of melee evasion, which is like our kryptonite. As you can see, if you're playing my build, I have 700 hits, so it's pretty low, but it's only low because not no one, but hardly anyone ever goes melee evasion, because in T1, melee evasion is kind of hard to build without sacrificing too much damage. So a lot of people don't go for melee evasion, right? So in T2 though, you're able to build all three reliably, and if they focus on melee evasion, there's no way we're hitting them. So it's like, I think that change was honestly made for T2. So while this could be beneficial in some situations, maybe even like for arena, I don't think it's better in our current state with T1 to go over this, the CC resistances and the heavy attack. I think I'm still gonna stick with this, although like I said, this might be better for arena. You just have to play around with it. I'll figure it out and I'll kind of let you guys know what I end up using. But I think off the top of my head right now, I'm gonna be using just the base version. Maybe swap to this, like I said, for arena. So that's huge. That's a cool little added specialization. Like I said, I think it's for T2. I don't think it really is going to be huge for our version. And then now you can, the last spear change is Nimble Steps, which is a passive. Now also grants ranged evasion each time a movement skill is used. It removed the stacking mechanism and it now applies the bonuses directly. So this is big. This is this one right here, Nimble Steps. You can see every time you use a movement skill, collision and bind CC resistances are increased by 360 and ranged evasion is increased by 420, that's a lot. It's a lot of free ranged evasion. Previously, there was no ranged evasion on it, and previously you had to build this up. It was like every time you got hit, your resistances and stuff would go up. But now it's a straight up passive, like you just automatically have it. You can see I already have it down here on the tree. I took out the attack speed one. So this one, I think this is a good passive, but I think it's probably the most interchangeable one. You could probably opt out on more damage by going one of these, but I don't know. I really like the heavy attack chance, even though it's only 5% chance, and I like this 10% chance skill boost. I think attack speed is probably the most interchangeable one. Even though it's good, I think it's the one that you want to mess around with. However, putting this in there, and I'm not even playing a heavy evasion build. You can see I'm sitting at almost 1400 for both. Okay, if I use this and I get my Shadow Walker proc, right? I'm up to 2061 evasion. Okay, now the minute that I do a movement ability like that, it procs the Nimble Steps. I'm sitting at almost 2500 ranged evasion. And I know it only lasts for 3 seconds, which seems kind of short, but it's on any kind of movement. So if I Shadow Strike, it's on there. If I Gale Rush, it's on there. If I any kind of movement, like if I do Slaughtering Slash, it is on there. So the uptime on this is going to be almost always, as long as you're not getting, you know, completely CC'd, in which case, you know, that's just that. But that's kind of huge. And then like if you were playing a high evasion build, right? Like if I was this is not even the highest you can go, but flat I have 1600 here, and then I use it, I almost have 20. Like that's insane. That is a lot of evasion that you could play with. So depending on how you build, this could be huge. I think for me, I like to stay more damage oriented with the heavy attack. I honestly think that's enough for me. Like 2500 ranged evasion at this point in the game, I think is plenty. It's not, you know, insane, but I mean, it's plenty for how, you know, people ranged like bows and whatnot probably build up to 1200 maybe. They might start going more, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. But I mean, any added ranged evasion is huge, so that's big. Nimble Steps, granting that just right off the rip is huge. But I think that's about all the spear changes. There is one more thing that I noticed that they didn't actually put in here that is honestly probably the biggest spear nerf I've ever seen, or we will see, and that is milk. Yes, milk. Basically, if you look at my videos, we have very bad mana problems, right? The minute we start doing our combo, we start throwing spears and whatnot, our mana is just gone, right? So the fix to that was drinking milk, because milk would give you a ton of mana. However, you can't do it in combat. Well, there was a bug that you were able to basically escape, and then drink your milk. It would instantly take you out of combat. But now you can see it doesn't. The minute I'm in combat and I try to escape, can't do it. So they fixed it. You were also able to type escape and do it the same way like that, but still nothing. So you actually can't drink milk now until you are out of combat. And sometimes the out of combat thing can be buggy and not take you out of combat, even though you've been sitting out of combat for like 15 seconds. Like it's kind of crazy. So I don't know. That's probably the only real big con to playing Spear Dagger right now, is like our mana is just non-existent. And when you have no mana, you literally can't do anything. I mean, you can't use anything because everything is just so expensive. Now you could potentially change out runes and maybe go for like a high mana regen build, I just don't know if that's optimal. You know, I think honestly the most optimal thing now, since they took the escape thing out of the game, I think it's just going in, doing your combo, and hoping that you die, honestly, to get your stats reset. Throw out your combo and then potentially die. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to play around with it and kind of see the play style. But yeah, that's probably the biggest spear nerf that we're gonna see anytime soon. And I know a lot of people are saying that spear is extremely overpowered and overtuned. In my honest opinion, and I'm not just biased because, I mean, those of you guys that know me, I've played bow dagger. I've played a lot of this game. And I don't think that spear is overpowered or overtuned. I think that spear is extremely strong, but only strong in very specific scenarios. Okay, when people, the reason that people think it's OP is because, like, in large scale fights and whatnot, people bunch up on the same target like this, and then you throw your spears, and of course they're all gonna get nuked, right? Because this is our one thing that lets us do a ton of damage, right? Because it bounces so many times. But the minute that you fight anybody off to the side and you're doing a 1v1, you still do a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but it's just, it's nowhere near the ability that like a bow or like a greatsword dagger. You'll never be able to beat a greatsword dagger. And honestly, spear shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to kill faster than a greatsword dagger. But we have our strengths, we have our weaknesses. I don't think it's extremely overpowered. I'm gonna make a video, it's probably gonna be the next video, kind of going over why everyone and Reddit is all about nerfing spear, because I don't think that it needs to be nerfed. I think we're gonna be extremely undervalued in T2. So I think these changes are very necessary, and I actually think we're probably gonna need buffs because of the gear changes and stuff that's gonna come in T2. So I don't know, I'll talk about it in another video. I don't want to keep this one too long. I wanted to kind of go over all the spear changes and just keep it at that. I will keep you guys up to date. I'll make another one of these videos anytime anything new comes out with spear, because this is my main weapon. And but yeah, let me know what you guys think about these changes, if you like them, if you hate them, if there's anything you think that needs fixing or needs to be buffed. And let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.